All right, so if we want to explain this process just a little bit, really it's just distributing. So we know, again, that 1 plus 5i is a 0. So what we've been doing is saying, okay, well then that means x minus that thing would be the factor. And then it also works for the 1 plus 5i. So again, we write x minus that thing. Okay, so that's just like saying, like, if x equals 4 and x equals 2, then the factors would be x minus 4. They kind of go the opposite. And x minus 2, we write minus whatever that 0 is. Okay, so these just have to be complex numbers. Now, if we want to actually see what the polynomial is, we can multiply that out. So if we're going to multiply that out, we're going to take our first term, because really this is like two terms. There's like a binomial sitting here because 1 plus 5i is one complex number. And so we're going to distribute x times x makes us get the x squared. Then we're going to multiply the whole thing, negative 1 plus 5i. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops, let me back up. I switched over to the other term. But we're still going to deal with that x, and it's going to multiply now times that guy, which is that negative 1 minus 5i. So we know that we're going to have the negative because of the negative that was there, and then it was an x. They're just not distributing that to the complex number. So it will have times 1 minus 5i. Then we're going to take the second term, which is a negative 1 plus 5i, multiply that times x. So you can see the negativity, and we have an x again, and then we have the 1 plus 5i. Okay, and then last, we're going to take that same chunk and multiply it times that second chunk. So that's going to be negative times negative, which becomes positive. So again, negative 1 plus 5i, negative 1 minus 5i becomes positive. And then we just wrote those two complex numbers right there, 1 plus 5i times 1 minus 5i. So then the next step that happened was distributing. So they took the negative x and distributed it to the complex number. That makes negative x plus 5ix. Then negative x times 1, negative x, and then negative x, times 1 times the 5i will be negative 5x. The very last term, 1 times 1 makes 1. 1 times negative 5i is negative 5i. 5i times 1 is a positive 5i. And 5i times negative 5i will be a negative 25i squared. You can see these middle terms cancel because this is really the difference of two squares right there. So it ends up being just a 1 minus 25i squared. So that's what they have written down there. They also started combining like terms. So this 5ix and the other minus 5x, those cancel each other out. We know that I squared is equal to negative 1. That's a definition. So they just rewrote that. And then they also combined a negative x and a negative x. That's where negative 2x came from. Okay, so then we have x squared minus 2x. That's what's written down. And then over here, that negative 25 times negative 1 will become a positive 25. So we'll have plus 26 when we combine those guys together. So hope that helps.